Hey, what's up? Brian Kohler here, and today we're going to be talking through kind of how I use ChatGPT to write content. I'm going to show you some different prompts that I use to write job ads or job-related content, and then I'll show you a really cool tool that's even easier than ChatGPT. But first up, let's review what recruitment marketing is all about. There's three main things that recruitment marketing is about. Number one, knowing your target. Number two, creating compelling content. And number three, distributing that content to get it out to the reader. That distribution is the part that we apply most of our focus and time and attention on, that being job boards or sources. But in actuality, the most powerful things are having a clear target and great compelling content that they will want to read. Great content improves engagement. It improves applicant flow. It improves quality of applicants. It decreases ghosting. It increases engagement throughout the entire recruiting process, but also the entire employee life cycle. You will never realize the power that great content creates, because at the end of the day, the entire process is about communicating, and communication takes work. Everybody's different. Everybody reads on different levels at different rates. They have a different life experience, so the lens they see the world through is different. And so therefore, focusing on the content is extremely important. When we think about the recruitment process, it's just a funnel. And the reason why we focus on it like it's a funnel is this is the easiest way for us to compare marketing and recruiting together. This is the marketing funnel, only changed for recruiting. The number one thing with it being that instead of asking our managers what they're looking for, we want to focus on who do they want to clone. Who do they know that they've hired in the last 6 to 12 months that they love on the job and that person loves doing the job? That's our secret sauce right off the bat, is can we find a who? What does that mean? Well, it means their resume is probably as important or more important than the requisition form. You see, by looking at that person's resume, we will know where they came from. What were they doing before they came to work for us? Why is it that coming to work for us was an upgrade? Why was it an improvement or better, a step up, a climb up the ladder, right? How would they know? Does our ad portray that it's an upgrade in their own words and lingo and the way that they think about things? What is the next step? Does our ad clearly call them to act and tell them what will happen next? And then finally, do we know how to match the individual applicants to our job persona or our clone? Do we have the right screening questions, interview questions, etc.? All of this requires a ton of content, a ton of typing up policies, procedures, questions, templates, etc. And the fact of the matter is the entire talent engine, not just the recruiting process, thrives on quality content. It takes quality content to keep this engine moving effectively and efficiently. Now, I know this because I don't just sell HR software. I spent the last 20 years helping employers with their hiring process, but also doing my own hiring. I grew from one part-time mom employee to almost 300 over the course of 15 years, doubling my size during COVID, during some of the hardest times to recruit. And at the end of 2022, when I left Applicant Pro, we were turning away 500 applicants per hire, 25 of them being employee referrals. And I can tell you it had nothing to do with our recruiting budget, because our recruiting budget was almost nothing. We were not spending a massive amount of money on paid ads through job boards. In fact, our main recruiting expense was employee referral commissions. And even that, we were paying $250 per hire. That's it. Even for programmer level jobs, $250 per hire. Even for six-figure jobs, $250 per hire. The fact of the matter is that it was a whole lot less to do with the distribution and a whole lot more to do with the targeting and the quality of content. So the problem most HR people run into, I'm not a creative writer, right? You wish you had your very own marketing assistant to do all the writing for you, but that would be outrageous and unaffordable. But this is where ChatGPT comes into play. Think about ChatGPT as your $20 per month personal writing assistant. Personal writing assistant. Let me show you some examples. This up here by my face would be called a prompt. A prompt is kind of our request for it to perform an action. And so you can see here me asking it to create a creative employer profile for needers, or to create a list of minimum requirements for a given job as an assistant baker. Now, one of the things that you'll notice right off the bat is both of these prompts begin with something very, very important, based on all of the above. What that means is I'm directing it to look at the conversation I had before I made this request. This gives you two main pieces to take away. Number one is the idea that I have to give it context. I have to feed it that backstory. The conversation above has to become more important than the knowledge it has on its own. Or more specifically, the knowledge above whatever prompt I'm about ready to put in takes priority over its massive generic bank of information. Number two is that you need to tell it where to get the information from. Those two takeaways are extremely important, and to be honest, the most overlooked parts of it. But what it can do at that point is write a great job ad. It can write a job ad. Let me restate that. If I ask it to write a job ad, it'll write it. The number one thing you're going to find is it's writing a job description, not an ad. And the reason why is because when I say job ad, it looks at the last 20 or 30 years of job ads and uses those as a template. So since most HR people weren't writing very engaging job ads, it's going to assume that job ads don't need to be engaging. Well, my workaround for that would be to tell it to rewrite it in a creative way, to give it feedback and better instructions on how to go about doing it. Now, I might also look at my ad and say, well, I need some screening questions. So I could say, create a list of screening questions. Once again, the problem with that is I didn't give it my requirements and I didn't tell it what kind of questions to create. So of course it gave me back open-ended questions, but by me changing my prompt and saying, create a list of multiple choice questions for this given job, right? Make sure that they're witty, engaging. Make sure the voice of the answer options is a certain way. Assign a score to each answer, etc., etc. I'm giving it very clear instructions on what to do, and I'm pointing it up above it the information I want it to use to do it. Massively improves the quality of the content. But again, it's writing a book for every page I write. It's writing a page for every sentence I write. So the upside is its ability to expand on that content, give us all the nitty-gritty details of it. Next up, I can personalize information, whether it's an offer letter. I can actually copy and paste in the resume to write the offer letter back. This ability to personalize information, to come up with interview questions based on a job, you could actually also come up with interview questions based on a resume. Using it to give you ideas and suggestions and tips and tricks is exactly the power of ChatGPT. That said, even that, what I just described above, might seem like a lot of work to you. So there are some easier ways to go about doing this, and this is where third-party applications that are built on OpenAI's API come into play. In this instance, I'm going to show you the one that we use, which is called Draft for Me. Quite specifically, it was designed to write content, especially repeating type content that you would write all the time, like a job ad, like a job description, etc. Instead of making you type in and know and memorize the prompt to put in, we get the shortcut of drop-downs. These drop-downs are built out to have our employer backstory, who are we, what do we do, what's our culture like. It allows us to put in the requirements for the job and our job persona that we want to target. And at that point, we can simply say, write a job ad from this employer to this job seeker type with this job title, and here's the type of ad to write. It will go ahead and go back and forth and bring that ad back into. Now, there's a couple important things about this. When a third-party tool runs on the API, the information isn't loaded into the language model. What that means, everybody worried about uploading their personal information and getting distributed out to the world. When you use the API, it doesn't work that same way. We have better controls over what information we're adding to ChatGPT and how long they're storing that information for. Secondly, the upside of a tool like this is I don't have to start over again. You get access to, or more importantly, you get access to the templates of prompts that we've created, proven, tested, and that work effectively for us. What this basically does, a Draft for Me type product, is it gives you a shortcut. It isn't just that you can repeat writing content by changing just one target or one job or something like that. It's also that you get access to proven prompts that let you make use of all of the knowledge that we've created, all the testing and trial and error that we've done to perfect our prompts, you get access to that to kind of leapfrog your way to effectiveness, to the point where it works well for you. You get access to all types of prompts, such as generating interview questions, generating job screening questions, you name it. Every day we're adding new prompts in here to help HR people write the content they need to run their recruitment marketing process. You also have the ability to create projects to store that information, the content you've written, for later. This is stored on our server, not on ChatGPT. You also can create teams and share your prompts and projects with your teams, thus allowing you to both have access, or multiple people have access to, the same information. And more importantly, this doesn't just work for HR. The same type of setup can be used to create automated response, or not automated, but AI written and drafted responses for your marketing team, for your sales team, for your support team, and much, much more. The same exact methodology of going through, training it for your team, loading in the backstory information so that everybody's operating from the same context, and then giving access to the right prompts at the right time to the right individuals. Very, very helpful in order to gather all of the knowledge that you need, all the content you need to drive your recruiting process. So if you'd like to learn more about becoming a HR content superhero, it's just $99 a month. What this includes, this isn't ChatGPT. This is training and coaching and mentoring on how to use any type of GPT type tool, whether it's ChatGPT or Bard or Bing, or it also includes a version and access to Draft for Me, along with our built and trained out prompts. You will get access to tips and FAQ and context of whatever it is that you're working on. We have an email newsletter, we have back and forth communication, we have support that's available to you one-on-one or in groups, we have live webinars and recorded webinars, and we even have our Refer Buddy extension, a Chrome extension that will point you to the best FAQ article and predict or curate that knowledge for you. So $99 per month per user. If you would like to try it out, let us know. We offer free 14-day trials. It's the best way for us to set the entire thing up, give you a personal training on ChatGPT, help you do a project with it so you can see exactly how that works, but also to set up Draft for Me and let you to write some additional content through that so you can see the two playing side by side, hand in hand, as a team that will help you as your assistant to make it easier and faster for you to do your job, to free up time for more strategic things that you can do instead of writing job ads. Thank you so much for watching today, and we'll talk to you soon.